Starting the stream. I'm starting this stream. Okay, I'm live here. I think I'm good. Yep. Okay. Let's go. Hello. Today, another day, and we're working on not LLM Sidekick, but one LLM. So the one LLM is actually this thing, one LLM. Today's cool stream because I'm going to be using DeepSeek again, DeepSeek v3, the new model that is basically crushing. It's very good in Ruby. And we're working on this gem where we try to create a single interface for all LLM providers, right? So basically you have your OpenAI interface where you use model, message, you swap out the model, and you don't have to change anything else and it will just work, right? So you can swap LLM providers at runtime with minimal changes, ideally with no changes. And that's our goal for today. And let's continue. We have a lot of things that we need to do. So first I need to go to here and commit my dot files. Okay, it's just an improvement, change font size in Alacrity for stream. We're going to push this and we're going to close it because we don't need this, to be honest. So I've left some changes not committed so that we can actually continue our work here. And two changes that I made is I've added a bunch of arguments to the model because apparently OpenAI supports a lot of arguments. There's a lot. So, and the easiest way to check that is to go to OpenAI Python SDK and just find their, yeah, I think this is the link. Quick start. Amazing. Let me see the SDK. So I want to open up the Python SDK, ideally on GitHub, and see the interface, all of it. So, I mean, I'm not going to be doing this, right? So I think you can do control replace, basically search replace in your application, but this part is what we want to preserve. But we're doing a Ruby gem, right? So the goal is to have a Ruby plugin or a Ruby gem that does it. Because Rails is amazing, but the only thing that it's lacking is this ability to swap models to whatever model you want. Anthropic, Bedrock, DeepSeek, Grok, OpenAI, and all that is just a little bit hard right now. I don't want to use LangChain, to be honest, in Ruby because it has a lot of baggage with it. It comes with a lot of baggage, and I don't want that. I want a specific library that does just one thing. It abstracts away API to LLM providers. So GPT-4o mini, right? I want to see all the possible things that I've added because I've added like a bunch of arguments. All I want is just a reference to this documentation. So maybe they have like docs or something. And I mean, I bet they do, but doc or like reference here, a full event reference, no. And here, no, this is not what I want. Open a versioning. So, man, I guess I need to go and actually check all the, okay, wait, model, no, pedantic models, file uploads. What about reasoning? Okay, I think this is just a bad page to start. So if we go to text generation and then actually, let's go to API reference. And I think it's going to be just easier to just to make sure that we have everything and we've covered everything. So we have messages, model, store, and here I can actually do like a split screen or something. It's going to be just easier a little bit on us. So create translation. No, this is not what I want. Create transcription. This is not what I want. Show me chat, right? It's called chat. Create chat completion. Yeah, this is what I want. So message, we have messages, we have model. I mean, obviously we have model, store. I'm not going to support this for now. This is going to be like an extra argument that we're going to support only for OpenAI because other providers don't really have that. This is for fine-tuning the models. So reasoning effort, something that I will support, and I think I already added it here. Yeah, reasoning effort, we already have it. Metadata, yeah, I already added that. Frequency penalty, I think it's here. Yes, logit bias or BS, yeah, it's here. Log props, definitely, we've added that. Mux tokens, I know that we've added both versions because apparently Mux tokens is deprecated, and now we need to use this. And I'm not adding it yet, I'll add it later. Modalities, I'm not adding it yet, I'll add it later. Prediction, so this is an interesting feature, again, just for OpenAI. I'm not adding it yet, I'll add it later. Audio, For audio output, I'm not adding audio output. Presence penalty, I think I have that. Yep, I have that here. That's fine. Response format, we don't have response format as far as I know. And that's because I've only added function calling and not response format. I'll add this one a little bit later. I think we need both because most providers actually support both. But I might actually look at the Light LLM library in Python and what they actually do, because it's interesting. Some models support just tools, and then they have like kind of like structured output forced, or like whatever is like all different. So I'll check what they do, because I'm a little bit afraid that I might just F up the abstraction right away and it's just going to be super complicated. I want to make sure that I get it right. So I'll just steal this. So I'm keeping it TBD. Seed. This is beta feature. I'm not adding it yet. Service type tier. Again, not adding it yet. It will be added just for the OpenAI provider. This we definitely have this one, right? Yeah, we do have stop. Stream, sure, we have that. Stream options. I have not added this one, again, because I think it's just OpenAI thing, and it doesn't really matter, because all it does is just when you send server sent events, it just changes a little bit how it does it. I don't really care because my library handles it for you. So, I mean, I can just add it for compatibility reasons, but we're going to mainly ignore this because like we don't really care. And temperature, sure, we have that. Do we have that? Yeah, top P, we have that. Tools, we do have tools, that's for sure. I added it recently. Tool choice. Parallel tool calls is something that I have not added, and this will probably also be OpenAI specific. User, again, OpenAI specific. I don't think we're going to make it for all models. Function call, I don't think I added that because it's deprecated. So technically, I still should probably add it anyway, but I'll do it later. Function, same thing, is like deprecated thing. So we added pretty much everything. Have I covered reasoning? Reasoning thing here. Reasoning effort. Yeah, I have. Okay, so it's pretty much good. As long as I implement everything that I've planned to implement, we're gonna be good, right? And let me show you what I'm talking about, right? So I added a bunch of, before we only had like model messages, stream tools, and tool choice. Now we have all of this on top, right? And I pretty much added it everywhere. Not everywhere. I added it just when I'm calling the provider, and I think I added it in OpenAI provider as well. Have I? Okay, so I need to do this, and it'll be easier than to go here. So I added it in the OpenAI provider as well, and I think I also already added some validation, which is good. You always want to validate input parameters when you're creating a library so that you have like clear expectations and fail fast, which I really like in the development process, not in production. Kind of like that. It's kind of like assert driven development, because all my everything that happens here is just raise a bunch of errors, right? If the condition is not met, you raise an error, you raise an error, you raise an error. And I have a problem here somewhere, but hey, unless, what the hell is this? Okay, unless, yeah, that's a broken syntax. So what exactly is here between, and I think probably bias, logic bias values might be probably this, right? And use block or something. Yeah, that's fine. Token ID. Yeah, we don't care about that. We'll figure it out later. Something like this. Yeah, so basically what it says, this is a hash, right? Yeah. So this is a hash, so we should say values and just do that. And then I'll check that just to satisfy this thing here. Avoid parameter list longer than. I don't like this metric. Like, what can you do if the API is this metric? So we're gonna ignore this linter error. This is like stupid for our case. Enabled fails, and then we'll restart so that my LSP will pick it up. Perceived complexity. I don't care. Like literally, I don't care. Rubacop. I don't care about the perceived complexity. I think I've already disabled cyclomatic complexity here, and I don't really care about this complexity. Well, at least definitely not for now, maybe later. And if we go back to our thing, well, let's check again. I need to restart Vim again because LSP is stupid. And use method argument max completion tokens. That's a valid statement. So if Mux can, okay, so that's interesting. Why is it unused? Because it's unused. Yeah, so we're not actually doing it. So I can just tell the model to do we even want to validate it? Max completion tokens. How many do we support? So it depends on the model, right? How many do we support? And because Max tokens here like return unless, and then we just do the warning because Max tokens is deprecated, you want to use Max completion tokens, but we're not actually validating the Max completion tokens here, which is probably fine at this point. I'll add something like validate Max completion tokens, and then another to do is going to be validate tools, right? Something like that, because I don't think it will validate them here. Yeah, we should also validate tools here. And let's just deal with it later. But for this, we need the model, right? So this is per model because, yeah, different model has. Although the API will kind of tell you. I don't know if I want to even do that here. Let's just do it like this, and who gives a crap? So this should be just like that. And unsafe navigation. What the hell is this? Stop, and stop is array, and stop size larger than 4. So this one is interesting. Use safe navigation instead, right? And we can probably just stop size greater than 4, but I don't really like this, right? So because in this case, when you do is a, it's actually like if here is nil, this will be false, and you're never gonna go here. So this is technically okay. But to be honest, I kind of agree that it's better to just do size, right? And then you don't really care. Like, but at the same time, stop can be a different thing. It can be a string, or it can be a string, or it can be an array. So in this, like if I'm not mistaken, right? Stop, string or array or null, right? And I don't think that we're handling here. So how do we validate it? So here. If we go and where do we validate the parameters? Do we have like a special validation for stop? No, that's it, right? So I only validated here. Yeah, so this is crap. And we need to fix that. So stop can have at most 4 sequences, and stop is array, blah, blah, blah. So what we can do here, the simple thing to do here is to just wrap it in array. Like in Ruby, you have this thing where if it's a nil, so for example, if it's nil, it's just going to be an array. If it's already an array, it's just going to be an array. We're not going to do anything. And if you pass one thing, in our case, it's going to be a string, right? The stop character that can be like, I don't know, like at the end of summary, or like a summary or something. So the simple thing to do here is just to do this, and it's probably going to be okay and fine. And then we're going to do size greater than 4. Then we're like, yup, whoop, you cannot do that. And that's just going to fix this problem. And I'll need to then recheck the documentation with the validation and what we have here, because I kind of did this, generated this with the model, right? Why I'm rechecking this validation, because I use DeepSeek to generate the validation, and I'm already seeing some like inconsistencies and a little bit of problems here, which I'm not a big fan of, but still better than nothing. So I already checked these. These are fine. Like the validation ranges, this is like easy to test. This is also fine. I'm not sure about this. This one should be fine. And if I'm not mistaken, this is how we actually do it, like from -100 to 100. And then log probs. Yeah, I think this is top log probs you can have from 0 to 20. Yeah, so that's also true. But I think top log probs can be null, right? So do we check that here? Oh yeah, we do. Okay, which is good. That's good. I'm not sure if I'm liking it that this is all like in one method, which is like not a big fan of this, but anyway, this is better than nothing. So we have this. Now, do we actually pass that to the build payload method? So we do pass all of this, a lot of this to the build payload method, and the build payload method receives all of this again. Again, I'm not a big fan of redefining the default values like 100 times, which we'll do like in build payload method. We define like reasoning effort medium, for example, and then when we call it, if we go to complete, we also define this here, which is like I kind of like this at the top level and not down below, because it just makes things easier. You change it in one place and you don't have to change it like in 100 places, which I will probably just do that, right? Can I do it? I think we do have all the default values up there. So technically we can make all of this required, right? So because I'm a lazy bum, I'll just, I think I'll just write a quick macro for this, like do this, and then bam, 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 bam. Okay, last one. I can fix myself. The magic of Vim. Okay, this is done. Now, okay, do we pass it somewhere else? No. So now we just use it, right? So presence penalty and all that crap. The thing is, we only should add some things if they're there. And I'm not really trusting this model, how it generated the code. So the model is definitely going to be here. Messages for sure. Stream. Yes, we want that frequency penalty. I think we have a default value for frequency penalty, right? If we go here, we do have 0. So we should ignore reasoning effort 2 probably. Presence penalty, top P, and temperature, right? But the rest of them are kind of like we should check. So log props, I'm not sure if log props is correct. So by default, it's null or Boolean, right? And we pass it always. Not a big fan of this. Again, not a big fan of this. So to fix that, we can probably do compact, and this will remove all the nil values. So if this is nil, for example, this will just give it, we're going to be removed. I think this is how it works, right? So if I have I'm just in case, because I'm not sure if it's available outside of Rails, because Rails is something that I work with a lot. Okay, it's available in Ruby, so it's installed in the library. Amazing. And now, what I'm thinking now is, okay, let me fix that. That's fixed. Okay, better. Now, this is looking good. Or instead of doing compact, I can just do the same thing as here, probably. But because, so for example, log probs can be nil, we have to be a little bit more specific, because if it's a Boolean value, right? So let's say log props, like we're going to say unless log props is nil, right? So if it's not nil, then we're going to go and add it. Otherwise, we're not going to add it. And metadata. Yeah, so for metadata, I think it also can be null. So we don't want to add it if it's not here. And I'm gonna do the same thing with metadata. There's no reason to have it here. So, and then we're gonna remove it from here. Sure, I'm gonna enforce this rule. Not sure if I'm liking it though, but anyway, I don't want to change it now. So temperature, top P, presence penalty. Okay, so now I'm really liking it. So, and then if I go and check the defaults too, right? Because this is what oh my god, there's too many arguments here. Not gonna be checking that. Okay, maybe here. Defaults too, right? And then response format. No, I'm not going to be doing that. So this is looking good. Now, if tools present, so here we don't really need to do that. We can just do this. Actually, if metadata, tools choice, logic bias, top log props, mux tokens, all of this is looking great. Right. One thing that I'm not sure about it is, should we enforce the type of the stop? And we're not doing it now. So I think I should just do that. So we have validate. Actually, I think I have this here, right? Validate params. And we have this stop if array stop size. But before we do that, we should check that arrays, like we can say something like if stop is string, or no, or stop is array, then we're good, right? So this is what it must be, or it can be null, right? If, so basically if stop, so we can do something like this, and then unless stop is a string, or stop is an array, then there is an error, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure about this like unless thing. So this is also like bugs me. So if stop is a string or it's an array, then it's good, right? Otherwise, we explode. And for this, like the other way to do it is to write this, right? Bam, 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 bam. You do this. or not. Wait. So if this, oh my God, I'm always like with these simple conditions and simple statements, I'm struggling so hard all the time. Like it's embarrassing. I know it, but this is just my brain that always struggles with this simple Boolean algebra. So stop is a string and stop is array. This is good. If not, we should raise an error. So for that, we'll say something like if, then we reverse. If it's not an array and not a string, right? Then we throw an error. But then because we use unless, we kind of like do this, right? Technically. So we can write something like this again because we reverse it. This is how Boolean algebra works. And then we can replace this with this, and that's pretty much the same thing, right? And then we don't even need this here. It should just work. Instead of meaning, yeah. So stop and oh, I replaced it with this, which is fine. Although we do have this thing here, right? So it's like a different thinking going on here. So probably gonna leave it this way. So unless it's a string or an array, then we throw, bam. And let me check this condition because I still think that I'm dumb with all this. So I expect that this will return like true, right? Is a string or an array, which means that it's gonna be false, right? And we're not gonna go here because it's not false, so we're not gonna go here. And obviously, if it's an array, that we're also not gonna go here. It makes sense. Okay. This is looking good. Now, if we go back to our payload thing, build payload, right? This is where the method that we were looking at before. I'm thinking that now we're covered because we do check the type of this thing, and this is like the limitation of Ruby, that when you're building a library, you have to check types all the time. And I know I can use like sorbet or other like stuff to check types and do it like more efficiently or like in a better way, but it is what it is. I'm used to doing this like stupid asserts, and I'm not sure if I even want to introduce the sorbet into the library that anyone can use in any project. So we're gonna do it like in a very primitive caveman way, which is basically like check the types myself. Stop. Okay, this is looking good. And now we're only gonna add reasoning effort if it's O1. I don't know if this is correct though. So O1 models only. Oh, okay, makes sense. So should I warn the user that you're passing the reasoning effort when there's none? And I think we will just silently ignore it for now. Like it's fine. We can fix it later. It's kind of like a minor thing. Okay, so now we added like a bunch of parameters to the model or API, right? And the ones that we've added are all these, which is actually a lot. Not gonna lie. Let me first commit this. So it's like, and we're gonna say something like fix ignore some metrics. It's actually Robocop, right? So Robocop metrics, and then we're gonna say something like I'm not gonna commit this because we haven't added tests yet. So we're gonna go to our test, and before I actually add tests, I wanna because right now what I'm doing is I'm basically hitting the API. Every time I run the tests, I hit the API. And at the beginning, it was a good idea, but now I'm thinking that I'm spending too much money for that. And in Ruby, there's a very simple solution that I want to do to fix that. And here in my app.md, this is the file that every time I talk to LLM is added to context. I'll just mention that our testing philosophy emphasizes real-world integration testing by always hitting the API. I don't think we're going to do that. We're not going to do that anymore. When we're testing, we don't want to hit the API, and we're going to use a gem to actually stop the responses in a nice way. And I'll tell DeepSeek to do it, and hopefully it knows about this gem. I'm not going to mention it. I'm testing DeepSeek if it knows about it, and let's see if it can figure it out. So DeepSeek, there is a problem with this spec. It always hits the API. Can you use a popular Ruby gem to record the requests to the API and then replay them later in tests? So we only hit the API once when we run the test suite, and then we always reuse the results, recorded results. think very carefully and give me the code that will work for the recording phase. But I should be able to, with an easy change, uh, re-record again if I want to. So think very carefully and add it to the test file. Oh, and give me how to install, give me instructions. Oh, and give me instructions how to install this gem. So I'll tell DeepSeek to do this. And again, I'm using DeepSeek API. It's extremely cheap. So far, I think if I go to platform DeepSeek, sign in, and here I use like 7 cents. I topped up like $5 and I used just 7 cents. And I haven't used that many tokens. I think this, okay, I don't know if what stats I were seeing here, but the balance is pretty amazing. So anyway, so it generated what is suggested. Let me see. So in the thinking, it's like VCR gem. Exactly. This is what I wanted to figure it out. It figured it out. So we're gonna add it to the spec helper. I have not given it access to spec helper, which I'm now regretting. Which means I might need to make that change myself. So it figured out that it needs to add this to the gem file, which I'll probably do myself. Gem file. So in our spec and Rubocop, yeah, we're working with the gem. We can't really do that, so we're gonna need to add it here, right? And for this, I'll tell it to do it here, right? Because I can start another chat with this LLM in parallel. I can have as many chats as I want. So add these gems. Oh man, well, what the hell is this? Yeah. To the gem spec, because we're using library. We can't really use like that. I want to add it here, right? Okay, it's added, so we're going to apply it here, and we added 2 dependencies, VCR and WebMock. Amazing. Now, we actually don't need this, and the beauty of my library in Neovim, I can change if I want to apply all the changes, because I don't want to apply changes one by one, I can just remove this change, and I can edit the response from the model. I can do with it whatever the hell I want. And this is so powerful. Like, okay, so one LLM, in spec helper, right? So do I even have a spec helper? I think I do, right? But I haven't given it access to the spec helper. So now I actually need to, oh, it actually figured it out that there will be like one LLM and then you'll need to do this. So we can do this. So I can just apply this change. Man, this is smart. So the model figured out, even without having access to this file, that there will be require one LLM. And it just hooked up to this change, because the way it works, I have a specific format that the model must give me the name of the file with the @ sign at the beginning that it wants to replace or add or delete, and then the code that it will search for, and it will replace this code with the suggested change. So kind of like it hooks up to this require one LLM, and then it adds the code that needed for VCR GM, right? So amazing. I'll just apply this change later, and then OpenAI provider. So it added VCR. This thing is new, right? We didn't have that, so it added this, and it added it pretty much like in places where it needs to be. And install the gems, bundle install. To record requests, you need to delete the existing cassettes in spec fixtures VCR tests. Okay, so you just like a caveman go and delete it. Run your tests with VCR, record all. Okay, create new cassettes file with the new recorded responses. Okay, and is this something that we control from? Okay, I think it's just what VCR does. It's been a while since I used it in this way. Actually, since I used it, I don't know why I haven't used it before, like in a long time, but for some reason, it is what it is. So this is all that I wanted. So I just need to run bundle install, apply the changes, and so okay. So let's apply the changes, right? Let's YOLO. Didn't file the spec helper. That's fine. So let's see what it did not apply, right? So it applied this change, and you see that it is like changes apply, right? So it's great. It's great. It's great. Now it did not apply this change though. And I'm not sure why it couldn't figure it out. So do I have it in a different format? Search, replace. It should have been applied. Why are you not applied? Do we have this in a specific way or something? No, it should be here. Require one LLM. I'm not sure. I think this is the limitation of like a bug with my library, and I'll figure it out later. Okay, I replaced a little bit too much. I got carried away. So I need to replace it with this, and we're going to add this, and then the mocks are going to be recorded here. So hook into webmock, configure spec metadata, and then OpenAI key. I think I have it in .env or like, where do I have it? .env or C? No? Oh, it's in Basher C. Yeah, okay. Like, don't do that. That's a bad practice, but I have it there. So I definitely have it. I don't need to do anything else here. It'll just work. So OpenAI API key, we're going to replace that. Later, we'll have to actually add every single provider that we add here because I actually want to hit the API and record the results from the model to be able to retest it. So because this is the most accurate test, right? This button is actually called golden files in other languages, like in Golang and stuff, where you record the real response from the model, and then you'll be able to replay it. But in Ruby, it's abstracted away. It's so easy to do, and you don't have to sweat a lot about it. When no cassettes, allow HTTP when no cassettes. Yeah. That's a tricky one. Do we want to allow HTTP connections when there is no cassettes? I think we don't, right? So if we don't have a cassette, we should record one, and we should turn that test into a VCR test so that you have to record the cassette. I don't think I want to hit the network without recording it. Well, at least for now. And it changed this to whatever that, okay, it's just me applying the changes. Okay, so now let's install the bin bundle, right? So it's like bundle, we're gonna install the changes, whatever the hell, VCR, and then webmock. So it's gonna install it, it's installing it, okay, now I have all of this. And the last thing that model suggested is basically how to run it, right? Which is VCR record bin bundle respect this thing. And this is something that I might need to, let me think. How do I run test now? Oh yeah, I just use my plugin in Neovim. So I'll have to VCR record this thing. And then if I take a look at the bin dir, I don't have respect here, right? Do I want to do it here? No, that's fine. Okay, so technically I should be able to just rerun this and it should just work, probably. But before I run this, let me actually, oh man, let me actually see what I have. So what kind of specs do I have? I think I have just one spec file, right? Yeah, just one spec file for the OpenAI provider with all of this going on here, which should just work. Now it's a lot though. Let me see where it added VCR. So it added VCR here, like this this little thingy, right? And then it added it here. So it did not add it in the validation, right? So when the validation error happens on the client, which means in our library, we're not hitting the API. And if we don't, and if we actually hit the API, we'll fail the test because it will not hit the API because VCR prohibits that, which is probably what we want at this point. So let's run this here and see what happens. I think this should just work, and it did not. And no keyword max completion tokens. Yeah, that's me introducing a problem. Let me run just a single test and debug it this way. All right, so we have this error, max tokens. Oh yeah, because I removed this method from the validation, but then I forgot to actually remove it from the client that calls this. So we need to remove it from here. And if I run the test, this should fail again because we don't have a VCR recorded. It passed. Did it record the VCR though? It did. So we have a successful response. So does it record it the first time? Okay, so let me just do this. We have a failed test though. Wow, that's something useful. That's something useful. Okay, I think we can remove that one. Yeah, I don't think we need this. And then we can check that, not to be null. That's fine. Let me have it here. So now interesting, if I rerun the tests, this should be instant because we're not hitting the API bin respec bundle exec rspec, right? Man, this is instant. So which means that we recorded all the API calls, which is kind of what we want. I want to recheck the API calls first, like this, right? So I want to make sure that we're not having our open API key here and no credentials are being recorded to Git, right? Because that would be a no bueno. So I'm doing it off Steam a little bit. And I mean, you kind of can understand me for that. I don't want to spoil anything. And I'm not seeing any problem here. So I'm just going to go back to here. And this is what a recorded request looks like. So we make an HTTP request. It records all the parameters, all the headers, all everything. And then if the next time something there's a mismatch of anything, it will fail, right? So the model, so basically it records all the input, and then the next time you make this call from the test, it will match it to the same input here, and it will return the response. But if there's any mismatch, no bueno, my friend, and you need to re-record it again. Or I mean, there's ways to hack it and kind of fix it in different ways, but that's kind of like off top and can be done later. So that's good. So which means that our tests are now super goddamn fast, and I don't have to pay so much money every time that I run them. So this I will call a great success, and we will first record our spec, because basically everything that we've done in the spec is related to this little thingy here. And I'm gonna start simple. I'm gonna start here. It's gonna be like improvement. Make sure we allow mocking, right? And then we're gonna install, and this is gonna be like a new feature, install VCR gem. That's that. I like to do it this way. And then it's like chore, remove useless test. And then this one is basically configuration for VCR, right? And we added it here. Yeah, but I think we can just do it in one hunk. Should we? Nah. We're gonna say now. Let's do it in one chunk. That's fine. Function calling and all that. So we recorded all of them and we run them, and this is kind of like a working example of what works. So, and we don't even need this change, right? So we're gonna just say feature use VCR in tab, like basically record add VCR config and record API call, API OpenAI record OpenAI requests, Jesus Christ, requests to OpenAI, something like this, right? And then this is our next target where we will add more things to it, which is basically this thing, right? So the next thing that I want to do here is actually add tests for the things that we've added. So we're going to start with this, right? This is what we've added. And the way I'm going to go about it is I'll just do it in YOLO. I'll copy all this and I'll ask the model to add tests for all of this. And the way we're going to do it is I'm going to go to the spec file. I'm going to first start the chat with the DeepSeek being here while I'm here. Like, so I added the context of that file. I'll add this file to the context, and I'll also add this file to the context. And I'll tell the model that, so I just added the following arguments to the complete method in OpenAI. Actually, client, right? RB and provider files, right? This is what I want. This is my beautiful code. Bam, just like this, and let's make it like valid Ruby or something. Kind of valid Ruby, that's fine. And then what I'll do the model now is I will kind of tell it to add tests. What I want you to do is I want you to add tests that will actually hit the API with these arguments. Let me think. I want you to add test cases for these arguments to the specs. Yeah, that's fine. You can group, and you should actually group some of these arguments in. Now, should you? Let me think. You can group some of these arguments in a single spec if it makes sense. I trust your expertise about how to use OpenAI API to judge how to validate, and yeah, let me think what I wanted to do, because this is like reason and effort. Yeah, basically take a look at the validation in the code, in the implementation, and make sure that it's covered in the tests. And I trust your expertise to maybe add some cherry on top. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to overload this model. I'll just add that thing carefully, and that's it, right? So just add these goddamn tests, and we'll review them. So I'm treating this model as kind of like you have the implementation, right? Running tests when you have the implementation and with validation and all that is relatively simple. So that's the one thing that I don't think I have actually access to. I don't think I have access to a one model. Oh, I do have access to a one preview and a one mini. So I think I'll be able to test that. But that's a good question whether I have or not. We'll see. So basically at this point we have it started running tests. Okay, so it added all of the arguments, which is like a lot of them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, this is like a secret sauce, not a very secret sauce I have with my Vim plugin that does this thinking. When I just say think carefully, it just plans ahead, and then when it plans the changes, it also plans ahead the changes, and then it efficiently generates the test cases and all that. So replacements to the file. So it should be good. Okay, so special cases. Let's read it a little bit. So I just applied all the changes, right? I just want to see what it came, because this is important. Validation of parameter values and formats, error messages for invalid inputs. Okay, parameter dependencies like top lock probs. Okay, special cases like deprecation warnings. I don't think that I want to actually check the warning, to be honest. Like, I don't really care in the test, so I might just delete that test. Boundary conditions for numeric parameters is indeed important, and I want to have those tests, especially for the library of this caliber that I'm trying to create. New parameter validation. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm actually liking this, but it's a block within the existing validation errors. I will just remove that block altogether, probably. It's a pile of crap. But yeah, let's see. So why is this here, right? So makes no sense to me. Like, why not just like this, right? And it will be like same thing, because it's basically validation errors. But yeah, have it added a single VCR test though? Because validating the arguments without hitting the API is kind of brave. The thing is, do I even want to hit the API for some of these test cases? Like, so what exactly have I added? Let me see. Let me think carefully, like an LLM. Reasoning effort. There's nothing I can do to test this. Like, it's, if it's there, it's there. It's fine. Metadata. I think, again, nothing I need to test here. Maybe later, when somebody like submits a bug to the library, like, oh, I have this edge case where the data is too long or something, and then it just explodes or something, and yeah, we'll add it. Frequency penalty, fine. Logit bias. So these two, I at least need to, like, logit bias, and I've never used them myself. Right, there was no reason for me to use them, so maybe I should just at least write a test to figure out that I understand what they do and that I actually pass these parameters correctly. But we can skip it for now. Max tokens, that's all fine. Presence penalty. So for max completion tokens, I think I want to test this, because this is a frequently used request, and not testing them is wild. So I should definitely write a test for this. Presence penalty. Not sure about this. Temperature. So we can combine max tokens, temperature, and top P all in one thing. Yeah, but not sure about the rest of it. So we can say something like this should be a test. So we can then, so first of all, let's run the tests again and see if it actually works first, right? So I'm just going to run these tests and it failed. Bam, 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 bam. Reasoning effort invalid, invalid reasoning effort. The error support provider O1 mini was backtrace. What? Oh, yes. So, oh, how did it know about O1 mini? I did not tell it about O1 mini. It just read my mind. Do I have it somewhere in an example? I don't think I do. I don't. Yeah, I have it here. Okay. So it read it from the provider because I have a list of models. I was like, am I crazy? Yeah, so it figured that part out. Yeah, so what it did not figure out is it should do this, right? So when you specify model, it should always do this. And we have like a valid model. And for this, I would actually want to create a valid reasoning model probably here. Valid, kind of like reasoning model. And then we're going to go with one mini. Yeah, this is what we're going to do, reasoning model. And then every time I see on one mini, which is probably just going to be one case, it's going to be valid. Reasoning model, I figured it out. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Now let's rerun this again and see if it works. Okay, we have two more left, right? The first one is values must be between, got unexpected error. Oof, Jesus Christ. So values must be between, right? And then we passed something that is invalid. And if we look here, legit BS or bias, whatever the hell this is called. Oh, it's actually a map of this, right? So it must be, okay, but the token is actually a string, right? Do I do that in the right way? Let me see. So if let me close this for now. Let me figure out how legit bias works. Legit, how do we validate it? So what do we do with this bad boy? Okay, let me find, oh, Jesus Christ, it's somewhere here. So many references of the same goddamn thing. Okay, so we don't even check the keys. Ooh, yeah, this is where I edited it, right? So it was itch, and then it was token ID, right? Token ID, and then this. And this between thing, is this even Ruby? I think it's Rails. So first, I should say, unless token ID is a string, it should be a string, right? Race, explosion. In this case, it's a string. So we're gonna do a string thing. Can move the string groups the token IDs. That's fine, unless. What? Oh, single line. Man, I don't really like the syntax because you see the raise and you're like, okay, do we always raise it? No, because it's like condition right here to the right. Man, I should probably change this Robocop metric. I kind of not sure if I even like it. Like in some cases, I like the syntax, but to enforce it, you have to be crazy. Okay, so this between thing, I think this is not even in Ruby standard library. And again, this is a problem with always using Rails, because when you don't, you're like, okay, is this in Rails? Is this not? So we expected BS is an integer, so we're gonna be like 111 between. Oh, it is here. It is here. Okay. So we're good. We are good here. Okay, one thing that I want to check, maybe it's because active super, no, it's not here. Okay, good. So what the hell is our error then? Let me run it again. Here, our error is failed. Legit bias failures, right? Let me find this test case here, legit bias values. So this one fails, right? And must be between. And we're getting an error of something different. Oh, because it must be a string first. Right, so we must do something like this, and that's fine. And then we're gonna rerun this. Oh, no, it works. What the hell? Do I do the validation somewhere else I'm not aware of? Because I just added it and it wasn't working before. Jesus Christ, what the hell? Legit. PS. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Is hash, then it's no good. And then if it's this, okay. If it's this, okay. Not sure what happened, but it now works. Okay, let's rerun the tests again. So we should one test left. Warns about mux tokens. Oh, because integer cannot be the key in the array in a hash, right? Can it be? I think actually it can. Am I crazy? So it was something like this, right? It should be working. Yeah, it is. It should be working. What the hell? I don't know. Warns about mux tokens. Okay, so warns about mux tokens depreciation. So I'm not sure, like, why is this even here? This is the test that I don't think we even need in the first place. So I'm just gonna remove this. And now we should be having all of our tests are being respected. Just respect. Can I just bundle exact respect? Yeah, I think I can actually run it from here, like all. Yeah, I can just run all tests from here, and it will just work. Good. So we've added the tests. Now the test that I want to add that is missing, that is very important, that, as I mentioned, is this max tokens thing with max completion tokens, presence penalty, and top P and temperature. This is the things that are often added, and the stop 2. So this 6, I think we can just combine a test for these. And we can just add it to the return successful response, and maybe like add a single test with that should have the following parameters. And we're gonna just insert our thing that should have the following parameters, right? And these parameters are often used in applications, and yeah, okay. These parameters are, or the parameters above are often used in applications, so we must test them. We just need a single example that makes sure that they're green, the green test that makes sure that it just works, right? So we're not breaking anything, and whenever we pass them. Okay, actually, for mux tokens, like you want to probably test that it works. I think, nah, that's fine. Add a single, yeah, that's fine. These parameters are often used, so we just have to have a green test that makes sure that they work, right? Think carefully. So at this point, I only have context of the test case. So to fix this, I will also give it the context of the OpenAI provider. So I added it to the context, and I'll just, model, go figure it out, and you'll do it, right? And the model will go, and it will add validation errors, handles default parameter successfully. Not the validation errors, dummy. It's not what I wanted, but I can take it later. Test this. Man, you added it to the wrong place. Like, why did you add it to the validation errors? It has nothing to do with validation errors, right? We're just testing the green case. And it's like, oh man, yes, I did a mistake. You're absolutely right. The placement is incorrect. And I will add it somewhere else, which, default comma initial place. Yeah. So I don't know why I cannot replace it. I'll just add this test manually, like a caveman. But what can you do with these types of situations when the model f's up? Oh, because it f'd up the tabs. It should have like 2, but it had 3, and my plugin is sensitive to the placement. And maybe I can actually fix that with 3-seater when I add things like, if you add it to the place that had like 1, 2 indentations, and then you add it to the third one, I should just probably match them anyway. But for that, I need to use a 3-seater or something that will be a little bit more robust than just string matching. That is currently what I'm using in my LLM plugin that does this. So here we have this task. Let me see what it does. So valid model, valid messages, mux tokens. This is stupid. Like, it obviously just use the default arguments, right? And I'm not liking this. And what I'll do, it'll tell it to fix it. I'll select just this, right? I don't care about the rest of the code in this test. So I'll just tell it to, hey, you're using default parameters for max tokens, max completion tokens, presence penalty, top P, and temperature. This is no bueno. You need to test them, right? So introduce some max tokens and max completion tokens and presence penalty and top P and temperature that are different from the default values. But you have to do it in a single test and make it short. I actually prefer that actually, I think I want to split this test, to be honest. I want you to split this test into multiple tests. Test max tokens, and then max completion tokens, and then presence penalty, top P, and temperature separately. Right? I want you to split this test into multiple tests. Test for max tokens like this, and then one for max completion tokens, right? And then one for was all three. We can say presence penalty, right? And then we can say top P, and then and temperature. Make sure that's response for each case. Delete the original test after you have split. Delete the original test, and test only the green path for now. And I will add it. I'll add this to the okay, OpenAI provider. Wait, how did I spell in here? I think this is going to be a problem. Oh no, it's not going to be a problem. Okay, I'll add this here to the context, and then obviously at the end also think carefully and bam, bam, bam. So it only has the context of this thing that it added, right? It doesn't have anything else, and I told it to replace it, obviously. So I think it should be fine. So what it did is max tokens parameters successfully, right? So it's here. Completion of parameters successfully, so it's here. Okay, and it has presence penalty, top P and temperature parameters successfully. Presence penalty, this is looking good. Yeah. Okay, I like what I see here. So now if I rerun this test, it should just work. Obviously, it should hit the API and record the first time it runs it. Yeah, and it's successful. So now if I run the test, it should be instant because it recorded, and we should see new calls to API with this thing. Amazing. Okay, so now this is looking much better, and I have much more trust in what I've added. Now, one sec. Let me check the test itself. So what it does, response and then choices array, message content is a string, and that's good enough. Good enough. I think I will also need to add a stop. Okay, so that's where. Let me think. So stop is this thing, right? It's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky. Stop this thing. So it's string array or null, and then we should enforce it. And this is also a commonly used parameter. So I think I will add it. And the way I'll add it is I'll just do, come on. This, no, not seed. Where are you? Yeah, copy outer HTML like an animal, like a savage. And we'll do here, we'll just add the full context of this file, and I will add this. I took this from OpenAI documentation, right? And I'll just bam, and then I don't think I even need to add the code, the implementation. Can you please add the test for the stop parameter? I want you to test two cases, when a stop parameter is a string and the stop parameter is an array, and I want you to actually test that it works. Think very carefully. Right, so this is a very specific thing, and again, why I care about this, because when we're going to be adding new providers like Anthropic and other providers, we want to make sure that this thing works, right? We're going to reuse the same set of tests. I'll extract them and I'll put them somewhere else, like a shared example, and I'm going to just include the examples and this is the best way to make sure that it kind of works. So, okay, so it added validation error. It raises an error 20 stops. So I think it added the validation, stop generation, single stop sequence. I don't like the positioning, so it added it to the validation errors. This is not a validation error, man. Why it added it again? Anyway, okay, so let's see. Don't like this. So, okay, so stop format, right? So we have this. This is good. This is good. But then this, why is this here? Okay, still raises an error. From what is stop format? Wait, it just added the stop formats? Invalid things? Not valid things? Okay, it added this, right? So we have these two, but they're also here. So it added one VCR test, this one, and this one, second one, right? And I don't like their location because they're inside this validation errors and parameter validation. This is like insane. Why is it even here? That's fine. I can move it. I can move it places. That's okay. We're gonna place it somewhere here. That's fine. And then we're gonna just format it better a little bit, and then we're good. Now the next thing that I don't like about the model that it generated this like parameter validation thing, like delete surrounding block. No, delete around block. Is this like that? Delete surround block. No, I don't think it'll work. Oh, okay, anyway. So I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna go here, delete it from here, and then I'm gonna go 110. Okay, 109. Oh my god, if I can go 109 up, I'll delete it here, and then I'll reformat that, and we're good. So we deleted that, and for now, the problem that will happen here is because I deleted that thing, the cassette will change because the name changed, I think, right? Did it have validation? Oh, we didn't have any API requests inside our validation. So basically, if I search inside validation for VCR, it should be empty. It is empty. Right? Oh, wait. How do I do that? How to search inside visual selection? Can't even do that. So I can just, like a monkey, search manually. I think there is none. There is inside function calling. Yes. No, okay, good. So we don't have any, which is amazing. I don't need to change anything. So we've added two new tests, and let me just review them. So first is stop sequence, this one. So what we do here is we use valid model, and we say stop sequence is apple. List three false stop after the first fruit. What? Does it mean that it will always generate an apple? That's insane. You know that your request is non-deterministic, and sometimes apple might not even be there. Can you please make sure that apple is always returned by the model? So instruct the model to return the goddamn apple. It's insane. Like, it just expects that the model will return apple, and maybe it will, but not every model will return apple. List three fruits. Make sure to include apple. Stop after the first fruit. Okay, I don't like this stop after the first fruit. Make sure apple is the first fruit, or let's say, okay, second fruit, right? So that we can test it, and then stop apple, and then it's like, oh, but apple should be here. What the hell? What was the test? What I was trying to achieve? I'm not even trying. I'm not even, like, I have no clue. So before that, it was okay. not liking this. One sec. Stop after the first fruit. Stop apple, and then not to include apple. Okay, list 3 fruits. Make sure always start with apple, right? And then stop apple, so be an array, and then first message contents, plate size. Okay, not to include apple. Always make sure apple is always second. So, something like that. And I mean, use now. Return fruits in lowercase. And then because another thing that can happen, like it can be a lowercase, and what will you do if it's a lowercase, if it's not, right? So you want to stop here, and then you want to make sure that apple is always, it was always this. Otherwise it's just wild a little bit. Okay, what's up with this formatting? Okay, this is slightly better. List 3 fruits, make sure apple is always second, return fruits in lowercase. Okay, stop apple, not to include apple. But we shouldn't have at least something. Content split, make sure apple is always second, return fruits in lowercase, delimited by spaces, by commas. Okay, like that. So in here we'll say something like not include, and then split, bam, 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 second to equal not include. Nah. Do we even care? I think we should just have something, right? So basically content size to be greater than 0. Basically there is like something in there. And I think this would be a great test. Not a great, fine test. So multiple stop sequences. So what I will do here is I'll probably just do the same thing. I will repeat the same test and I'll make sure that it just works, because this is stupid. The way it does it is stupid. And we're gonna say this is gonna be like an array, and in our case we're gonna use this thing. Oh, wait. This thing looks apple, pear, banana. Everyone likes banana. Make sure apple's always second. Bam, bam. Awesome. Line length. I know line length is not a cool one to break, but I don't care at this point. We'll fix it later. And not to include apple. And we're going to say same thing for banana, I guess. Banana. Size to be able to make sure apple is always second. And banana is always last. Return fruits in lowercase delimited by commas. Okay, this is good. And bam, bam, bam. So this should work. Now, if I rerun this test, it should create a new. Okay. Somehow it did just work. Surprising. Let's try to fail it. Let me actually see the content, because I'm extremely curious as to what is in there. Orange. What else could there be? It works. Okay, now I'm gonna just do the same thing here, just in case, to make sure that we're not getting screwed over. Banana, because we're not telling it to generate banana here. Banana is very probable, and it's funny that Copilot actually suggested banana and not orange, which means that apple and banana are more probable than oranges. So LLMs likes apples, then bananas, and then oranges. Or maybe like it's not unclear, because maybe it's because of the combination of apple and banana, it then says oranges. So you never know. That's funny. Okay, so I don't want to fix the formatting here, make it better. I can probably make it better. Let me use this syntax, and then prompt, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do squish. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, prompt, and then we're gonna do this and this. And we can just copy this here, here, squish, and we can trust. No, we cannot trust. Okay, so we'll do it ourselves, right? We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do prompt. Come on. Okay, squish. So if we run the tests, all the tests failed because do I have race? No. What the hell is wrong with it? I think it should just work, but it will not work. Why? Let me run this test. Made an error. Squish. Oh, that's a Rails method. Ah. Okay, let's ask it. I have no idea. Ruby standard library doesn't have squish. It's a Rails method. What can I use instead? And let's see. Squish. Suggestion. Oof, this is ugly. I don't have to use anything. I guess I'll just remove squish. Because, like, who cares if it's not squished? I'll just be this. Fine. New lines. It's fine. And we're good. Somehow we did match the query there, which is surprising, but yeah, anyway, that's good. I think the VCR jam GitHub. The thing is, I was thinking if I change the parameters, the VCR will fail and tell me that the request no longer matches, but I think this is a setting that I can set in VCR. So if I go to spec, probably here somewhere, I have suggest. Set options. Okay, let me see the configuration. Apparently, this is not the case. It's probably because show me config. Oh, no config. Okay, let's open this thing. Oof, that was white. Now it's dark. Good. So hooking to webmock. Why did you copy that? I just clicked here. Don't. Man. Okay, these are docs. There's like, my eyes. Allow unused should be interactions, automatic recording. Drop unused requests and naming no cassette, updating content line configuration, all HTTP connections, cassette library, default cassette options, sensitive data, yes, ignore request, preserve exact body bytes. Okay, I think this is what we're missing. Query parser, URI parser, and request matching. Okay, forget about this. Body as JSON, custom matcher, headers, host. I think this is what we are missing right now. So request matcher to match the request. So apparently there's this, right? Response status code. Blah, blah, blah. So body request matcher to match the response. So this is matching, right? Staying body. Okay, and then there's like a wait. Method post body as JSON. Oh, match request on. What the hell? So what is the default? Default cassette options. Match requests on method and URI. Jesus Christ. Okay, so match requests on method and URI. So by default, we're only looking at the method and the URI. So basically, whenever I'm calling it here, as long as I have only one call to an OpenAI in a test, then we're good because it's basically the same method and the same URI, right? Because we're changing the body. It's like a post request. So if I do the same request, another request in this test, I will actually be returned the response of the first request. This is going to be like extremely confusing for anyone who doesn't know how VCR works. And they will probably spend a lot of time to figure out why the hell am I having 2 requests and I'm always getting the first response. And it'll click fast probably, and I'll go into the library, it'll find this. It was a little bit hidden, to be honest. Maybe it was somewhere here. No, but you have to know it, right? So if you search, it's not even in the discussions. Man, it's wild that this gem is so popular, but there's like very little configuration and explanation going on here. I actually prefer docs to be in with the code. Maybe it's with the code, but it's a different repo or something. Yeah, not a big fan of this. Although I understand the appeal. There's plus and minuses. Okay, so now it should just work. Yes, 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 yes. And then we have deprecation. Max tokens is deprecated in favor of max completion tokens, which is good. We want to see it. This is what we're testing, so this is fine. Now, we've added a lot of test cases, and we're testing some special things here. So I'm going to call it a great success. And we're going to call it more params, like support, more OpenAI params, right? To be specific, I'll probably go to the client and copy the parameters, right? So I'm gonna say these lot of parameters, right? And we're gonna. Oh my god, I did not copy that. Okay, these ones, right? And then again, with a little bit of magic of Vim, I can do this. Can I? Can I? I don't think I can, right? Oh my god. So I can probably do something like this, bam, bam, bam. And then if I say not a comma, and then I do plus, and then I do comma, and I do G. No, 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 no. Star. Oh, there's something that's happening. Yeah. I think this is all I want. Yes, 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 please. Yes, yes, that's exactly what I want. With a little bit of magic, we can get it done, and then we can do this. And now all I need to do is just replace space with /n that I don't know how to actually type here. Is a CR? Oh my god, I don't remember how to do it. I don't remember how to introduce a new line here. Is this like okay, I can just do it yellowy like this and yeah. Okay, this is the parameters that we added, and then we're gonna do this, bam, 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 and we're gonna do this. And the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna just amend the commit, or I'll rename it, right? Reword the commit, and oh, did I copy that? I don't think I did. I need to copy this, and then I go back, reward commit, go here, I paste it. Oh my god, no! Oof. This is painful. You know what? I think I can I can reward reward with editor. I can do this. Yes. I'm not gonna be doing it this way. This is stupid. Okay. Added params, right? So we're gonna be nice. We're gonna be nice. And this. Good. Now I don't really need this file. I don't know what this file even is. That's fine. And then let me see. So we've added this. We kind of added support to a lot of pretty things. Oh, what's this? Oh, we gotta fix that. That's probably our nil. That's actually JSON. So we should replace nil with null. That's it. Right. Yeah. I think this will do. And the way we can check that is, do I have what is that thing called to render Markdown in console? I think I installed it recently, but hey man, it's been a while. So I think it's called, let me see, Brew. When did I install that? Glow. Yes, Glow. Let's go back. So it's going to be Glow README. I'm not using it too often, as you can see, and it's looking great. Okay. So just docs. Make them prettier. Good. Now this should look slightly better. Okay, it's not an eyesore anymore. That's much better. There's still a lot of things going on here that we need to do, but this is much, much better. Now, at this point, we have a lot of things in our library already. So if I go to the API reference and chat, we have this. So we've added the default support of like text in, text out. We've added changing image input, image out. The thing is with log probs, I think I'm not parsing log probs because when you add like that stuff, the response changes, right? And I'm not doing that. I need to parse the response, actually return the log probs to you. That's bad, but we're gonna fix that. So image input works. Streaming, does it work with multiple images? I think it should work with multiple images. And I think I have a test case for that, right? Let me see. Do I have a test case for images? I think I do. Image URL. So basically, local image content in messages, image. I don't, right? Tell me I do. Tell me I do. Man, I don't. I don't. So I have an exception and this. I think it'll just work. I don't think there'll be a problem. So we have streaming mode with function calling. We have function calling, which is tools and tool use. So we do have that. We're still missing validation of this thing. So I need to validate that just the input is correct, which is like type function. And then all of this is what OpenAI actually allows you to use, but it should be specific to OpenAI because different providers, they have the different thing, how they validate it and what they do and what they allow or not allow. And then for log probs, I do support log probs input, but the output is something that I forgot to do. And I can just, add this test, add this, and just tell it to do that. So I'll do this, and then response. I'm gonna copy this like a monkey, and we're gonna say response, right? Response. And then we're gonna go here. Yeah, we're gonna say request. Below is an example of request and response from OpenAI documentation for log probs. Yeah. Good, not bad. Now, and I will want it to add a test. So I added test to the context. Now I need to add the provider for sure. Here, yes. And then I have this response object that I need to add to this. And I'm not sure if we're getting it in a streaming mode. I don't think it's a streaming mode. So if log props are available in streaming mode, we should also add them there. But let's say we're just going to add them here. So I have this response object that I need to add it to. Those example of request and response from OpenAI for log props. I want you to first add log props to the response object because we're not parsing them, and you should add them in the OpenAI provider too. And then once you did that, you go and find the log probs test case and you update it to check that we have some log probs in the output. Think carefully. Go, assistant, go, DeepSeek. One thing that I want to tell about DeepSeek is this model, like, sometimes is slightly less intelligent than Sonnet. So it makes like mistakes, these little things that Sonnet wouldn't make. But at the same time, it's much faster and it never failed. Like, literally, I've never seen a single API failure. Like, it was always successful so far, which is surprising. For anyone who has used LLMs, you probably know that it's a rare thing. Okay, so we've added log prob to our response file with token log. Okay, let's check the response. So this thing has like what content. Okay, so let me just see that top log probs. So it has token log prob bytes and top log probs, right, which is an array of whatever the hell this thing is. Yeah, because it's like token and then what was the probability and then the bytes and all that, and then for each token. Yeah, and it already added like example for 2, right, which is better than 1. Just better representation for me to just implement that. So top log probs, and then top log probs we have token, right? So we have a token, log prob, and bytes. Okay, all looking great. I don't know why it wasted so much space. It can be just one liner, but we can fix it later. And now in the response object, what we did is it added log probs. Yeah, good. The thing is, I see content here, so I'm not sure if it's handling it correctly. Like, where's the content? There is content. Like, why are you not adding content? I need to check that. That's a little bit surprising. Although, at the same time, I'm not really sure why content is here. Like, what is it even doing? There's if I take a look at the response object, right? So where's the response? So what does it do? Let me make it bigger. What does it do? It doesn't do much, right? It's just okay. So it still log props can be an array. But okay, maybe if later you want to add something else here. Oh, but there's actually something else like finish reason, right? Oh no, that's outside log props. Yeah, for continuity reasons, like for being able to add more things to log props, not just content, you have this here. So it makes sense. Not gonna lie, API did the well here. Okay, so now what it did. Okay, let's just apply this YOLO. It did not apply everything, unfortunately. So we can see what it did not apply. We can check what it did not apply. And it did not apply this change. So let me check the spec file, why it could not find this. And I think it's probably the same problem with indentation, right? Let me check that. Yep. Indentation, man. You have to respect it. So we need to add just 2 spaces here probably, and it'll work. Same thing goes here. And again, the thing is, I can edit the response from the model. So if it failed, I can help it a little bit, you know, I can just a little bit, and I can just run the apply and it again failed. Why did it fail? Oh, because it tried to update them, but this should match, no? This should be here, no? Should you? Apply. Yes, it did apply. Okay, this looks sketchy, not gonna lie. But we'll see. We'll see how well it works. So let me first review the whole thing here. So it added log probs, which I like, to the choice, right? And then it added log probs here. So we have log prob. So it's a hash. For some reason, it's called log prob, not log probs. Weird, but fine. But in OpenAI, it's also a hash, right? So it's fine. For some reason, they renamed it. Not a big fan of this. Anyway, and log prob has log prob. What the hell? Because it's probably called the same thing in OpenAI, right? Yeah. Jesus. Okay, I might want. I'm thinking I'm gonna rename this to just match to whatever OpenAI does, so that I don't create a lot of confusion here. But anyway, so I don't see content here. Where's content? There's no content, so this probably doesn't even work in the first place. Yeah, I don't see it here. So it's not working. It's not working, and we can just run this test and see if it fails. And I think it will, because we don't have So this to be a string, but it's nil. And the reason for that is because it probably just doesn't have that. This is probably content, and we can easily test that by just going here, and whenever we initialize our log prob, this is, if I just YOLO raise in here, oh wait, raise attributes, log progs inspect, yes, and I'll rerun this, to be a string, log props token to be a string. I didn't save it, or what? Let's run it again. Yes, I did not save the file. So content, it failed. It failed. At this point, I'll probably just fix it myself. So first, I don't like the name of this, so I'll probably log probs, and I'm gonna call it. Where is it here? Like this. Where did I use it? I'll actually let me find this. So let me save the file, find it again. So I have log prob. Just want to make sure that I use it in just one place. Okay, and we'll also have it in the test. So I need to not to forget to do it. So let's just add it here, log prob, log prob. So, and then I go to the spec and log prob. So, okay, now I go back and we have this goddamn content that I need to create, and it makes no sense here. But we will have to create this class, right? So I'll probably just ask AI to do it. Hey, there's an error. Log probs actually has content, and then all the values of log probs are in it. So can you please modify, like add this class to the response? And I'll just add it here. And here's an example of the response from the OpenAI documentation for your reference. Right, we're gonna add this, and just like, and we're gonna add think carefully because this is important. I'm lazy. I think I will just create the name of the class, and it might content log prob. This is exactly how I would call it. Amazing job. Maybe log prob, but not even sure what that is. Log probs. Did quite a bit of changes though, but that's fine. Let me review that now. So now choice, we have log probs. This is still the same. For some reason, oh yeah, but it should be the same, right? And then we have this here, and then log props can be empty, which is fine. And now represent individual, blah, blah, blah. So we need a better comment here, but I can remove it because like it's a library, so it must have some comments here, and I'll add them later. So now we have this, right? And it should be straight up in the log props. Yeah, so log props now is dumb. It just has the content. And content is here. If it's not, blah, 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 we do this. Amazing. So basically we moved everything to the content. Could have done it myself, sure, but it's kind of like quite a bit of typing and save a little bit of time by just speaking to the model and asking model to make the change. And in the test, I think I also need to change it here a little bit. So we're gonna have, wait, what do we call it here in the response? Wait, did it add it to the delta response? No, it did not. So what do we call it here? So log probs, and then in the log probs, what do we need to use? We need to use, my God, why doesn't it work? Does it work? Go to definition. Why so many eggs? I have a problem somewhere. Oh, maybe because I changed it so much. So what if I restart it? Wait, what if I restart it? Then I go back and then I do it once. Wait. This is the problem with Ruby LSP. Basically, whenever I change this file, if I move it like up and down, it cannot figure out, and it just added multiple times to the LSP, and then it is duplicated. Maybe it's because I don't have one class, like one file per class, which is like a common convention in Ruby. So it goes a little bit crazy because the file is called response.rb. But it should be able to handle that pretty much, which is weird. But anyway, so the content log prop, but the property, what the property called content. Okay, so we're being sane outside, right? For the outside, to the outside world. So here, what I'll do is I'll just, content, bam, this bad boy, and we're gonna do something like bam, bam, bam. And before we'll add another one, so we're gonna say just content like probs, and here I'm gonna say something like probs content prob, whatever, string, and then this should be green. Now it's not content prob, but it is it's an array, right? Oh, why is it an array? Wait. It's a oh, because the content of the log prop is an array. I see. I see now. Okay. Wait. This is a little bit confusing. So log probs is a hash, and this is kind of like its key. So it kind of have to do it this way, but then it itself is an array, right? So we're gonna say to be an array of, I think you can say something like that, content log probs, but right? I think this array of expected. This didn't work. What the hell? To be a, I think this should work, but it doesn't. Wait, am I dumb? I think I am dumb. Log probs content, yeah, because content log prob, this is our thing, and if we go to the definition, we find this, and then when we define it, we do it for each content in here, which makes no sense. We have only one content all the time, and then we iterate over them. Oh yeah, because we call it log prob content, but technically it's probably log prob. Oh, but the content is an array always, right? Is it? I think it is, right? And then we're gonna call this. So basically, okay, so it's not gonna work, right? Because it's an array, and all of this is not gonna work. Okay, so now we can just, I don't want to update it. It's a tedious job. Actually, content is an array of content log prob. Can you update the task? Think carefully. Yeah. Go. And you'll do this tedious change that I don't want to do myself, which is to be an array, and then you take first, and then you talk and blah. Yes. Do this. Amazing. Is it that tedious? No, not much. But this should now work. Yes. Actually, like if I just redo it in Neovim, I think it's gonna be faster. And I'm getting lazy. So this is what it was before, like how we would do it in Neovim, right? So because the content is an array, we can say something like the. So first of all, I'll do this, and then I'll say first myself, right? Or I'll do something like first, okay, dot first, right? And then instead of this, I'll say be an array, and this should work. I am being lazy, not gonna lie. I think just doing it in Neovim is faster for some reason. I'm getting used to LLMs and being lazy, which actually is a bad thing probably. Typing is good. It's good for us. Okay, so now all tests should be green. Bam, 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 bam. We're amazing. Good. Now we've added everything that we ever wanted. We added log probs. We've added parsing of log probs. The only thing that is problematic, let me actually check the rest of the arguments that we've added. So we've added reasoning effort. I think there is additional response when we do this. I don't think that, okay, so for metadata. So what do we do with metadata? Okay, it was actually there. Why did they do this? Metadata. Developer defined text and values used for filtering completions in the dashboard. So the question is there an example of the metadata? Okay, so we do have it in the response, right? So I don't think I'm parsing metadata today. Do I? I think I don't. Metadata. It's not here. Okay, so I'll add it to do for myself to do it later. Client, it's like repeated the same thing. So to do parse metadata, that's the first thing. And then what else have we added? And this is like, I'm being a little bit sloppy and trying to do it fast, but man, it's just a lot of things that needs to be taken care of. Frequency penalty. I don't think there's anything related to frequency penalty. Yeah. So this we're already parsing. Legit bias. Modify the likelihood of adjacent tokens. Okay, so we're doing this, but is there a different response that we need to parse? Bias is added as a legit generate the exact effect. No, there's no. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing, which is good. And then log props, we've added this. Max tokens, we know that. Presence penalty. So with max tokens though, like, is there a different thing here? Incomplete details. I think it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Does it? Max prompt tokens, max completion tokens. So it's in the response, right? Ooh. Yeah, I think I'll need to add it later. So I think I have this already, right? Do I? Let me see. Max prompt tokens. Wait. I didn't know that it's in the response. So usage metrics. And oh wait, this is file. What is this in this request? Threads? Oh, forget about it. What am I even looking at? Create chat completion. So we have log probs, this crap. Usage. So I have all of this already. That's good. That's good. Reasoning tokens. So reasoning in my usage. Do I have reasoning tokens? I don't. Oof. Completion token details, right? So we have this completion token details, but we don't have a class for it, which means no buena, because so prompt tokens here, completion tokens, total tokens, all that. What model are we using here? GPT-4o, right? Object. So I need to parse the full response. Okay, I'll just add it here. This is not cool. To do parse full response from Open AI API. Yeah. Full response from Open AI API. We need to support all of this because this is very important, and I'm not doing it here. I don't think I'll add it here. It obvious that I'm not parsing metadata, but I'll just add it here. So I'll go to the response and I'll add it manually. So the first thing is parse metadata, like add metadata, and then in the chat completion here we have usage, and let's say completion, just add metadata, add all usage like fields, yeah, because we don't have all of them. And then in the response we also have some other things like ID. Do I have ID? Okay, I do have ID. Object, I don't have object. I do have object. Okay, create a model, choices, that's good. So we have all of this. Yes, we do have bytes, right? Or just added it. Yeah. And then what else? I think I'm missing something else. Finish reason, I think I have that. Yeah, of course. So usage, something is missing, and then system fingerprint, we have that. Okay, so for reasoning tokens, we do have it. Now, the one thing that I also need to take care of is reasoning effort. So when I add this, reasoning effort. So do we have an example? We don't. Okay, so reasoning models, script supported, high, low, low. I think this just makes this number go way up the higher you increase it. So that's it, right? Accepted prediction tokens, rejected prediction tokens. So this is going to influence this thing and nothing else, technically. And then we're not parsing metadata, right? Because I think or maybe it's not even here. Like that's a good question. I need to check that. So metadata, this is a completely different request, right? This is a request to what? Batches? Yeah, it's whatever. I think metadata is not even here. So just, I'm overreacting. Probably just usage data. Probably just all usage fields. Okay. Add all usage fields. And that's it. It's going to be our task for the later. And I'll commit this later. So here, I'm going to feature parse log props, like add log props to the result, like that. So we're going to add that, and then to do add all usage fields. I'm going to add it later, and we're going to do it not today. Now, at this point, I have a pretty, or maybe we should just add it today. Like, it's not that even difficult. Why am I even bothering? Like, just go do it. Like, we have this, and then we have this example, and then I can say just this. Below is an example of the JSON response from the OpenAI documentation. I want you to compare it to the response object that we have, find the discrepancies. I think we're missing some fields. So once you found them, then go and add them to the response. You can create classes, you can modify classes, do whatever you need to make sure that we support everything. Think very carefully. So this is something that I can do myself, but then the model, again, is just probably faster at this point because it's like almost 11 p.m. My brain is barely working. This is another thing that I like about LLMs, where you can still work relatively with like high output, even though your brain is not up to speed. And this is probably where you create the most amount of bugs, the most number of bugs. But yeah, we'll see. So usage, the future is bright. The future is bright. So we've added completion token details, right? This is this thing, which is exactly what I was thinking it should find. So let me see what it found first. So top level fields. Our response class has already top level fields. Amazing. Choices array has all the fields. The message structure matches our message class. Our class has the example show completion tokens has specific subfields. Our current usage class does not have a structure for this field, so it found it. It found it. Good. Good. So we're only need to add this and this, right? Which is amazing. And this is what it added. I applied all the changes, and now if we review it, completed token details, we have this. Okay, and then, oh my god, who formats it like this? My god. Can I do this? I don't think I can, right? Yo. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this, but it looks ugly. Something's wrong with this formatting. I'm gonna fix it later. That's fine. So we have this, if we have this, and then we use this, and then we have this, we use this. Okay, good, good, good. Oh, and we've actually fixed it in a couple places. So let me do the diff and review it properly. So we've added a new class, it's here, and then we then added it like to the usage, right? So that's it, right? We just added to the usage, and then we have it here to H because it can be empty. So when we're serializing data, so that's good, and I can actually resolve that to do. Oh wait, before I do that, let me rerun the tests because I think so. If I go to cassettes, I think we should also see that in the cassette, right? So do I have this completion token details? I think it should be somewhere here, right? Yes. Okay. So if I rerun the tests, it should work. Yeah. Okay. It didn't break anything. Good. And we should probably write a test to check that. So if I go to my tests and I'll tell it to then test this. So I'll just add all tests here. Like, you know, who cares? My brain is barely working. And then I'll add all the responses, and I'll tell it to, hey, can you please check that we have the following in our response? the following fields in our in the response that we are getting following fields in the response. The exact value of the fields can be different, of course. Can you add either a separate test or find a test that you can add it naturally? Think very carefully. Again, I'm functional enough to give instructions to somebody to do it, but it's very hard for me to now concentrate with my not much brain power left at the end of the day. So, and it decided to add the new test, which I can agree to, and it again failed to replace it. What's wrong? So this thing, right? And I couldn't find it. Okay, well, because I'm not in the spec. Wait, open up the spec. Woo. So this thing, right? Actually did much. And again, indentation, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, again, failed indentation. I hate this. So DeepSeek fails to match the indentation. And then my plugin, maybe I need to rewrite the replacement to 3-seater, basically. And if I use 3-seater, which is basically using AST, abstract syntax tree under the hood, I might be able to match data much better. But then I'm entering the dangerous territory. If the code is the same in different branches of the file, if the file is too big, I might replace something accidentally. But the likelihood of that is relatively low. So I'm probably gonna do that as a separate thing with my plugin. Again, it's good that I can change the output of the model and just modify it myself. I'm not using like any cursor or anything where you cannot. Can you really change the output? Can I change output like model response in cursor AI? Like, I don't know if it's even called cursor AI, but I think you can. Yes, you can change the AI model. No, okay. Okay, let me see. Can I change the response from the model in cursor AI? Let me do that. Perplexity, come on. Yes, you can change the AI model. This is GPT-4o in a nutshell. And then I'll stop that. This is bullshit. I'll use Sonnet, please. This is not what I asked. You can change customize how it responds to queries in several ways. You can switch between different AI models using model dropdown, customize instructions, digital customization options. Can I change the answer after that the model generated like manually? Direct edit, you can manually edit any code or text that the AI generates before applying it. Okay, so I can do that. I guess. Okay, it took back and forth. I'm surprised Perplexity didn't do it. So I'm bragging that my plugin does it, but Cursor does it too. Yeah, Cursor can do it too, which is good. And probably their apply works better than in my plugin because for some reason it struggles quite a bit in the last few days. And I think I'm just not getting used to this. Yeah, I just need to use AST to replace the code, and that's it. Anyway, so my plugin is not better than Cursor. That's what I learned today. Well, returns completion tokens details. Okay, so what if I run the tests and it's green? Good. So basically what we're doing here is, let me run this test, just to make sure. Okay, so it should create a new cassette, right? Because it's a new request to the API. Yeah, it did. Okay, so it recorded and we're good. So basically what we're checking, it's an integer. Good. Now we can live with that. I can live with that. That's fine. That's looking great. So, and I'm going to be lazy and I'm going to add, like it's a feature, add to the response. And actually it's called in the API this thing. So I'm gonna just bam, 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 this to the response. And we now have much more closer implementation to OpenAI. And I think at this point, we can actually start thinking about adding a second provider to the library. Again, just a reminder, we're creating one LLM. This is a gem to unify all LLM providers under the same umbrella. And the idea is that you should be able to swap the model at runtime without changing anything else, right? So messages, all the parameters that you pass here, you should be able to change like OpenAI models to Anthropic models to Olama to anything else out there, and hopefully it will just work fine. And once we have this, later down the line, like I'll definitely add Bedrock and all other providers, inference providers and all that. But the idea is that later, once we have this library, we can build a lot of things on top of it. Like for example, a better interface for structured output. So for example, something like GitHub instructor. So Python has this instructor, right? Ruby doesn't have that, and we can add it. Actually, I don't think I can I can talk about it, but we can easily add this interface to Ruby. I must say, like a beautiful thing without actually patching this thing, right? Because what it does, it patches the OpenAI client, and then it introduces slightly different interface where you can say response model is user info, and then it provides you structured output. But we don't have that in Ruby, this is like super beautiful. You just define the object, you say I expect this object, and OpenAI just returns it right magically. So we can do the same thing in Ruby. But this should be a separate library. I don't think this should be in this library, right? In this gem, because this gem should be like a very low level implementation and kind of aggregation of all the providers out there. And then we can build beautiful things like instructor, but in Ruby version. So actually there is a Ruby version of instructor, but if you look at the implementation, it's pretty much the same. Like you have to patch OpenAI client, Anthropic client, and it's not as beautiful. And the interface is just kind of weird. I'm not sure I'm getting it. What are we even doing here? We're creating a client, and then it looks a little bit different than what I'm used to. And yeah, it doesn't support a lot of things, or maybe somebody just abandoned it. Who knows? But the idea is we create structured output, and then once we have structured output, we can build things on top, like monitoring, adding things like easy to like integrate hooks or things to integrate it with monitoring services like Datadog and others, like where you can just enable Datadog and it will push data like how many tokens you use, like just some statistics to Datadog and other services like that, like StatsD and stuff like that. So we can build it not inside this library, but around it, which will be super powerful and kind of like a family of gems for working with LLMs. Well, this is at least an idea, and hopefully I can get it working in a couple of weeks. We'll see how it goes, if I have enough time, because I'm a father and I have a job. So hopefully if you like it, follow, subscribe, and see you somewhere around. Bye-bye.